Maybe there's someone in the White House that's like downloading Nintendo like ROMs or something, and they're like they're hiding behind this like lawsuit.
Trump didn't want to pay $30 for that.
If you if you told Nintendo that Trump downloaded a fucking Super Mario NES ROM, game over. That's it. He's being taken down tomorrow. They're sending fucking snipers.
Just like how we did in the past. It's, you know, like it's like fashion is coming back and it's like all cyclical. I'm telling you, man.
Cyclical my nuts.
All right, episode 23 of Not Quite High Score.
We can do better. We can have the podcast start better. We're above nut jokes.
What are we at? 23?
I think
nut jokes is pretty much the cap for us at this point. We can't go higher than that.
Yeah, I think we should set the bar as low as, to meet the expectation.
The bar needs to be below the floor.
You're going where Highguard is going.
Jesus. Rip that fucking game. That game was dead before. Whatever. We'll get to it when we get to it. But man, sucks for those guys, I guess.
I'm very distracted.
We're a gaming podcast, right?
What do you see?
What are you distracted by?
By the pine trees and pineapple. Not pine trees.
Those are my swim trunks that I wear for swim lessons with my daughter.
How wholesome. Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I bet you weren't, you piece of shit. What were you expecting, huh? Go.
I don't know.
Some degrading shit.
It's the trunks he wears when he takes a bath.
You think I put these on to feel special when I go take a really particularly nasty shit?
Oh. You take a shit in your shorts? What?
Shorts?
Yeah, he just stands in front of his toilet and shits himself. He looks at it, it's like, I want to, but I can't. And it just proceeds to shit himself.
Yeah, I think I see a little bit of a shit stain on it.
What a wonderful start to episode 23.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
You're the one who started with nut jokes.
He's not convinced. He's like 23.
I don't remember. Deep.
Yes.
Come up with a name for that feeling that you get the first time you turn on a build after having put it together. PC build. And it turns on and everything was great.
On the first try?
On the first try. Come up with a name for that feeling.
I don't fucking know. Orgasmic. I'm not coming up with it, but I'm just associating with it.
Failure.
Okay.
Jas.
Mm-hmm.
Come up with a name for that feeling that you get when a video game allows you to skip the tutorial from the get-go.
Orgasmic.
I see what you're putting out there, Jas, and I like it.
I don't know if you say orgasmic to what I'm about to ask you.
It will depend on your question. So the power is with you right now. So
invent a name for when you throw someone out the window.
Do you hate this person, or like do you do it out of like
you like out the window normally?
Okay, so right. So I would say orgasmic, I think.
Jesus Christ. You fucking simpleton. Buy a goddamn dictionary. There's already a fucking word for that, and it's called defenestration.
Taz, what's a
and
word?
Actually, that's true. I did hear about this.
Taz, what's the word like that you can associate with someone not bringing up laundry behind you?
Orgasmic?
Oh, so original.
So good.
All right. What do you guys plan?
A lot. A little bit of everything.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Like the energy today, it's just
dude. I saw the script. I was like, none of this is it's just depressing.
My game
wasn't Manny supposed to do like a game show episode?
Well, I mean, if there wasn't,
I thought we were gonna do Jeopardy, and then I saw that there's a script, and then I was like, great, now I gotta fucking come up with shit to say.
Okay, hold on. You wanted me to do Jeopardy with the energy you guys are putting out today?
I would have had more.
That would have been a
energy if it was
waste.
Jeopardy. If it was Jeopardy, I might have done a backflip and been happy. I don't know.
Breaks his neck
He
on
would
his
have
bed.
warned the trunks. Come on now.
Would have worn the trunks, exactly. Would have squeezed my man boobies for you.
All right, that's a mental image I did not need.
But yeah, no, I've been playing a few things, trying a lot of things, committing to absolutely nothing. It's been
That's
an
the
everything. It's
theme.
been an everything bagel of games for me.
That's the theme.
Tried a bit of Arc Raiders. It's fun. It's actually quite enjoyable, but I know I'm not going to commit to it, so I didn't bother
It is
really
surprising though, because you're
playing more than a few
probably
hours.
you and Jazz are probably the least likely people I know to play or even try an extraction shooter.
I mean, I heard so much about it, and everyone's going on about how the community is actually really good, and for the most part, they were. I didn't really get shot on sight, except for one guy, but you know, you can't let one of those kind of sour it. And apparently, the more peaceful you play, the more likely you are to be put in peaceful lobbies. So the people that tend to shoot on sight or actually kill other players pretty often sort of all get bundled together in a lobby with each other, which I think is kind of funny.
A very
But
wholesome session, I guess.
yeah, man, honestly, really cool. One of my first games, I just told the guy, I was like, yo, if you want to kill me, go ahead. But like, I ain't got shit. This is my first game. He's like, oh, cool, come with me. And he just showed me around and told me what to loot and he helped me out. And I was like, all right, you don't really find that much in multiplayer games these days. So that was pretty cool.
That's definitely not the experience you'd have in Marathon if you tried that.
Yeah, I have less than zero interest in Marathon. What else did I play? Ninja Gaiden 4. It's pretty good. It's definitely a platinum game. It plays like a platinum game. It's very fast in a lot of ways that I think it doesn't necessarily need to be. And I don't know. I feel like I'm sort of sometimes I feel like I'm just a spectator in this game because there's just so much shit happening, and I get that they want to make it super flashy, but I feel like the previous Ninja Gaiden games were a little slower paced and I had a bit more control, and it wasn't
Mhm.
just like shit flying all over the screen at all times.
Is it one of
But
those you press two buttons and it just launches into like a 10-hit combo thing?
I mean,
No.
not really. Like you're performing combos, and you know, they definitely changed the move set where like the previous Ninja Gaiden games didn't have moves where you were to have to press like down up X with your left thumbstick to, you know, whatever, initiate whatever move.
They did.
Um, not oh really?
Yeah. It wasn't as complex. It was usually just like a simple, but I've noticed like this one, there's like 2, 3 combinations you have to add before pressing like an attack
Yeah,
button.
and I saw those and I was like, with the battles in this game, there's no fucking way I'm gonna remember these. So I stick to my
Mhm.
few combos that I've learned. I'm still doing Izuna drops like crazy. Like everyone gets one in this game. But yeah, like it's really fun. It's very fast paced. I just wish they would slow it down a little bit, which I know is weird to say for a Ninja Gaiden game. But
What
you know,
chapter did you get
overall,
to?
I think I'm on like 6 or 7 now.
Okay.
But you know, enjoying it. Pretty good. Nice little parry system and all that stuff too. So good additions. Just you know, I wouldn't mind it if it was a little bit slower. What else am I playing? The Crew Motorfest, which is just sort of it was $8 on Steam, and I was like, why not? It's enjoyable. I'm having a good time with it. The controls are a little floaty for my taste, but it's nothing I can't really get past.
Is there any reason you decided to pick that up? Because I know you were playing Burnout, and so are you?
Yeah,
like,
and I
done
just felt
Burnout?
like no, I mean it's still ongoing. It's just sort of these games, like these racing games, aren't the ones where I'm like, oh, this is what I'm playing at the moment is my main game. It's a very much just if I don't feel like playing anything else, I can revert back to this because they're low commitment. You do a race, you don't really forget how to hit the accelerator. So it's like I'm forgetting combos or anything if I come back to it weeks later, you know? So yeah, I like it. A lot of the races are kind of, it works by like race playlists. And so like one playlist is called, let's say, Made in Japan, and you're racing like Japanese cars. And so you have like drift races or you have street races, but it's all Japanese vehicles. And then you have the American Muscle series, and you have, you know, whatever luxury cars from like Europe. So you're not always just sticking to one car that you're constantly upgrading to go through all the races. Like they're making you drive different kinds of cars in different kinds of conditions. And I think that's pretty cool.
Cool.
But yeah, and like a very nice looking game. It's a little dead on the road, but that said, you know, I wish it had a better fast travel system though, because a lot of the times I'm like, okay, I have to get to this race, but I got to fucking drive like whatever 15 in-game kilometers to get to that point, and it's not always exciting. Like
Sound
yeah,
like Forza, I guess. or there's like
Well,
other
I mean,
players
even in
driving around?
Forza, like at least in Forza, I could just fast travel to any point on the map at all times. So like I wasn't if I just wanted to quickly do a race, I could just simply fast travel to that race and I could do it. Whereas in this game, let's say I have like 20 minutes to play. Well, I've already wasted 10 minutes trying to get from point A to point B. And so that's kind of a bit of a bummer, but whatever. If you can get past that, like the game itself for $8, I'm pretty happy with it.
Okay. No, because I bring up Forza because I like in that game, if you're driving around the overworld, there's players as well.
Oh, there's
that you
players
see.
in this too.
Yeah.
Like there's
Okay.
ghosts that you see, but there's nothing to do with them. They're just there and you see them drive past. I'm like, okay, cool. But that's pretty much all it is.
Okay.
Funny enough, I did when you said you were gonna play Forza, I reinstalled Horizon 5
Mm-hmm.
and I literally just it's like a what 90 100 gig download. I boot it up, I take a look at the map, and it was I've never seen so many icons on a map in my life. I immediately closed the game and I uninstalled it. I was like, I can't.
I'm surprised though, because it's like you're not the type of person to look at that and being like, I have to do all of this content.
No, but it's also just I don't even know what to do in the first place. There's so many different challenges and stuff, and I was just like, I don't want to sift through this to look for the things that I should be doing.
Mm.
And I'm just like, and I played a lot of it when they came out, and it just seems like they've added an infinite number more things to do, which I guess is great. But I don't
I
know.
guess it's
Give me
also
a little-
maybe some of that where like if you come back to a game after a very long time and you've done a lot, it's like you don't remember anything.
Yeah, kind of. And at the moment, I was just enjoying the crew more, I guess. I was like, if I have to pick between the two, I'd rather do this and then just get a fresh start with Horizon 6 when that comes out.
I know you've been also been playing Ninja Gaiden 6, right?
Yeah,
Ninja
it's
Gaiden
been
4,
like
sorry.
the only game I've been playing.
6?
I skipped
4,
a few
yeah, Ninja Gaiden
iterations.
4. It's good. Taz, I mean, pretty much did a good job explaining it. The game is a lot faster paced than the other ones. I kind of enjoy it, to be honest, because I found the last like Ninja Gaiden 3 I think was getting a bit too repetitive. So the
3 is never
beginnings-
a point of comparison for me. 3 does not exist in my mind. I really liked 1 and I really, really liked 2.
yeah,
And in my mind, there never was a 3 because that's how
sure.
much I hated
So
3.
I mean, even if we ignore two was good, but it was more the same. I appreciate what they're trying to do different with this one, and you do get used to it. I just got to chapter 8, and at this point, I think like I'm starting to switch around the weapons, switch around the combos, because like the different kind of even pairing system have their own uses. So I've been enjoying getting bombarded by a lot of enemies and like just the fast pace because I could like I like being able to think on spot of like trying to assess the situation and figuring out like who should I go after first and trying to assess like the stage and all the enemies. So I've been enjoying it. You're right. In the beginning, you're right. I didn't like it. I felt it was a bit too fast paced, but you get used to it. I think by the time you fight your second big boss.
Oh, that does remind me though. Like one of the big issues that I had, maybe a little less so now, just because the enemy types, but definitely near the start, was the targeting system is just.
Oh, that sucks.
It is dog shit. Like there's so
Yeah.
many times where you're not attacking the enemy that you want to be, and there's like no feasible way, and yet this is the enemy that you need to be attacking in this moment. So that there's like, let's say a ranged enemy that's floating with a
Yeah.
jetpack and just shooting you. I want to fucking go and just do a flying swallow or whatever towards this guy, but I can't seem to. And even if I try to do it, I can't reach him.
Yeah,
But he's the
so
one that I'm targeting, and I don't know. It's just
for flying enemies, the best strategy I've used is like when there are flying enemies, they'll pull like these grappling hooks around stage. You have
Yeah.
to grapple to it, and then you'll be able to do a flying swallow to the enemies. So, but you're right.
But
The
even
targeting
through that,
system-
I would do that, and I would still not attack them. And then there's
Yeah.
also times where when you charge your Y attack and you suck in the souls, and then you can launch this crazy attack.
yeah,
He'll attack the enemy that's like next to or behind, but not the one that I'm
Yeah.
like clearly staring at with the camera pointed towards that person.
Isn't
yeah.
that a
So-
reoccurring issue though throughout the Ninja Gaiden games, either targeting or like the camera issues? Because I remember that being
No,
an issue as well
the,
in the first two.
The auto targeting system in the first two games are pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
Um,
good, and I think it was just less problematic overall, because especially at the time for that kind of a game to have the camera system that it does. Like I think if the Ninja Gaiden 4 was a game that came out then even with the issues that it currently has, it would still be passable, because back then that was still a high standard. Whereas now things like targeting and camera aren't really a big issue in many games anymore. Like it's something that's kind of seemingly been solved. So for a game like Ninja Gaiden 4 to have it, I think it's more of a problem.
And you can't individually target in 4?
You can. It's just the choosing between when there's like 7 enemies.
Right.
It doesn't do a good job of like cycling through the targets.
Okay.
Like
You'll tend to cycle back to someone before even like hitting like.
Or like go somewhere else.
Okay.
So I've just the targeting system is absolutely dog shit. So I just kind of anytime it targets to something else and I'm surrounded, I'll just reassess the situation. I'll try to change my strategy on the spot. So that kind of helps, but yeah, other than that, the game is pretty fun though.
Yeah, that's a good game. I mean, it's a good Game Pass game. I'm playing it off Game Pass. So,
Jazz, what about you?
Sort of like Taz, where I tried a bunch of things and nothing really stuck. But I did finish Miles Morales. I thought that was like, perfectly sized game. Got to finish it in about 20 hours. I will New Game Plus it, but not right away as I did with the original Spider-Man. I got the Lenovo Legion Go S that has SteamOS on it. So I've been kind of like dabbling a little bit, and I actually started playing this game called Chance of Sonar. So essentially, Chance of Sonar, very very cool game. It's like a linguistic puzzle game, and so essentially you play as this hooded traveler, and you wake up at the base of like this ancient tower, and you know nothing about what this is, right? And so basically the tower is split into distinct floors, and each people on each floor can't understand each other or you. So your goal is to climb to the top, decipher their languages, and essentially act as a bridge to reunite these fractured cultures. So again, it's a puzzle game. So when a character speaks, you see a speech bubble, but you just see these abstract symbols. So glyphs. And so you kind of have to guess what they're trying to tell you based on what's happening. So like little interactions, or if they point or something like that. Like if they point to the door, right? Like it must mean like open door or something like that. So and the game does a pretty good job. Like you really need to have like a notebook and like draw these glyphs like on a paper, because then you won't really remember. So once, and then honestly, like once you've seen enough symbols, then your character like takes out like their notebook, and you now have to do the guessing game, right? So there's going to be like three images, and it's going to be like someone pointing like this, so that means I, or then someone pointing like this, which means you, and then you realize, oh yeah, it's true, he told me like, okay, I'll open the door, now you open this door. So you kind of have to like remember essentially what those glyphs were. So a very very interesting game, visually extremely stunning, kind of reminds me of a page of a comic book. And sorry,
Question.
before
Yes.
before you
Sorry, go
answer your
ahead.
question, I also want to mention is that, because I didn't mention that it's different cultures. So the syntax could be, for example, on the first floor, it's like English, which is subject, verb, and then object. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if you go up a floor, it's a different culture. So that other culture could be like verb, object, subject. So you kind of have to like understand that, like, oh, it's a different culture, so it's a different way of speaking. So maybe the symbols are actually like mixed and match. So but yeah, I just thought it's like a really fun game, beautiful designed, and I was kind of in the mood to play like a unique puzzle game. So I found that on in my Steam recommendations.
Is it one of those games where it's like the more you're just deciphering, it's like, then let's say if you decipher a few words and you talk to the NPC again, is it like some of the words are going to be translated while the rest are going to be like, okay. And then is it like only a few NPCs you get to talk to, or it's like, do you like walk around the town on that floor and it's like you're having these different conversations with different people?
I mean, you definitely have a few NPCs. I'm not like super far into the game. But no, like, I mean, you can definitely, like, you'll notice that once you unlock this word and it actually is the right word, that speech bubble that was like dot 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 will be like replaced by something else. And what's interesting is that, as I mentioned, after a couple of tries, right, the character will naturally open a notebook, and that's when you have to decide, like, okay, this symbol means this means this. But throughout the game, you can just open up the keyboard and you can like say, oh, I think this means up. and then it'll have a question mark. So then you don't have to like forget, like, I mean, you don't have to like write it down on a piece of paper essentially if you didn't want to. So, so yeah, the validation system is done well, and I like the fact that they added the grammatical shifts, which is true. Not every language goes by subject, verb, object, right? So it's cool to see, that also kind of implemented. But yeah, so it's if you guys are in the mood to play something like a puzzle game, something that might, maybe kind of, pick your brain a little bit, I think that this could be a fun game to pick up.
Cool.
But if not, I also just recently, just today, like started playing Final Fantasy VII Integrate on the handheld.
I saw that pop up on Steam, and I was like, well, what reality is this?
No, well, I mean, Catherine also wanted to have a look at it because she's a big fan. But yeah, so just kind of, and that's what I like about having like the handheld, right? Like now I can sit on the couch, and we can just kind of play either together, or she's just kind of watching. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. I'm really enjoying it so far. Like, I'm not super far into the game, but it runs amazing on the Lenovo Legion. Like, I was getting easy like 120 FPS at like on high settings.
Nice. Sorry, did you say it was remake or rebirth?
It's the Integrate, which is a remake with the added Yuffie DLC.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. What about you, Manny?
I've been playing a few games.
Sorry, I completely forgot. But I mean, I'm guessing that we're gonna play Scott Pilgrim tomorrow if everyone got the game. But I started playing Scott Pilgrim EX as well. I'm about 2 hours into the game. I just kind of wanted to see, like, dip my feet into the game and just kind of see what it was all about. If you guys are a fan of the classic, you're gonna love this. It just obviously opens up the game a bit more, like more RPG elements. You have 7 characters that you can play from, right? And I've been playing a lot with the robot because, like, he's more range. So yeah. Anyways, looking forward to playing with you guys tomorrow. But I definitely put in some.
I'm hoping we can stream it on Twitch. So if anyone's listening to this, you guys can check us out on Twitch at NQHS. Yeah, I was about to say that Gmail thing. Yeah. So the last couple of weeks, I played a few games with my brother. So we got to try out Horizon Hunters Gathering, but we can't talk about it because I didn't realize I signed an NDA until in the middle of it. My brother's like, no, we can't discuss it. But we also got the try out Marathon. And I know my brother didn't have the best of experience. I think you dipped out after 2 games after the tutorial. But my friend Sin and we got to play a few games, and you and I had a complete different experience altogether. It definitely has the crisp Bungie gunplay to it. There's something about the world, the aesthetic that I really like. It is hard, I gotta say, coming from Destiny, where it's like you're a loot goblin, you're trying to gather as much equipment as you can, whereas in this, it's like the intention is that at one point you will lose your equipment. So to like kind of change your mindset about like being okay with losing equipment is kind of a bit of a shift that you have to get used to. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up the game yet, just because I don't necessarily have people to play with, and that's definitely a game that's best enjoyed with friends. But also what was surprising is how fun the Rook class is. So that's a class you kind of don't start with anything, and the expectations to you go in and you can blend in with the AIs, and you're supposed to gather as much loot as you can, and you make it out. And it's a kind of a solo thing, whereas a normal game, when a team starts in a map, there's like I think 6 other teams at the same time, and you guys are all spread out into different locations.
Sorry, it's not at the same time. They periodically drop over the course of the game. It's not like...
So I was going to say the teams, while they're starting at the beginning, the rooks periodically drop.
Oh, I thought... Okay, so 6 teams drop at the same time. Okay, because that's not what I read. So
yeah, so there's 18 players, and then rooks can come and go.
Okay.
And so the point of the game, it's an extraction shooter. So yeah, you gather equipment to get up, but what Arc Raiders does as well is you're also supposed to gather resources. And in this, you kind of have these different factions, and you're supposed to use these resources towards upgrading the factions. And they give you upgrades for like vault space, inventory space. They also upgrade some of the shells, which are the different characters, the classes. So like some things people have been doing is upgrading a Rook first and foremost, because he's a lot quicker, his stats are a lot better. You also starts with like I forgot what it's called, but it's like a giant ass grenade that it's like a landmine almost, where it's like someone steps on it, they take a shit ton of damage. And so like there's a lot of like montages right now of Rooks just annihilating entire teams by putting these landmines out there. But yeah, that was surprisingly fun. But no, I'm not sure if you have anything to talk about Marathon.
It's weird. I had the exact opposite experience. So like, yeah, it's Bungie, so the shooting is crisp. It's nice. It feels good. But I realized I'm not a fan of extraction shooters. Um, and it's just I felt like the game was just missing something. Like you go in and I just there wasn't something like it was missing like a hook to just like make me want to keep playing. And I think the level design kind of blended all together. Like I couldn't when you play games like I guess like Fortnite or even Apex Legend, there are distinct landmarks, right? So when you're like I think Arc Raiders has there's different biomes and you can kind of tell like one region apart from another.
Well, when you're going in, so there's like 4 or 5 different biomes, but you don't have access to them all right away. So you have to have played a certain number of games to unlock subsequent ones, but the map itself remains the same every time.
Okay, so anytime granted we only did 2 matches. I felt like none of the landmarks were different. I guess I just felt like I was in the same area, even though we spawned in 2 different places. So yeah, that mixed with the lack of like interest, I guess, through like no hooks. I just couldn't get into it. But the shooting felt nice. It felt good to kill CPUs or try to shoot enemies and get killed by them. But
personally, since I got to play a bunch of more games after you left, I started noticing differences between the different areas. It is going to have the same look and feel between the maps. Keep in mind, in the service line, we only got to try 2 of the 4 maps, and so they're going to release the other 2 period. Well, there's a 3rd map that's available, and then the 4th one, which is like cryo something, which ties into the raid, is going to be available in a week or 2. And funny enough, during the service line, people were complaining that they weren't able to see a lot of other players, and then Bungie went out and said it's because players keep dying to the NPCs, and so that's why like chances are you're not seeing any other players,
which is surprising because I thought the CPUs were really easy.
Well, so we've only been fighting the grunts, and so if we had explored a lot, and we often like there were markers on the map that says there's a higher, a more powerful NPCs, and so when you do kill them, the bounty's a lot better, and then chances are a lot of players tend to kind of aggregate towards that mini boss anyways, and so there's like if you're not careful, there's like purple enemies, and they're known to just wipe an entire team easily. Yeah, so there is kind of like. So go on.
No,
because the game does a good job of at least giving you like a basic loadout. So even if you go with your best guns or like your only guns you have and you die, obviously you lose everything. But it does a good job of giving like it allows you to equip like a bundle. So if you equip this bundle, you can't equip any other items or weapons, but it gives you enough stuff so you can like at least start killing the grunts. So
you're never like walking in with just like a knife and like told to like just good luck. Even the Rook class, you're walking in with like a fairly decent weapon and some like equipment to heal yourself as well. And it's kind of like as you're gonna do more upgrades anyways with the contracts, and you have other equipments you start with as well.
What do you think of the longevity of this game? Like, do you think it has enough there at the moment to attract enough of a player base for, I guess, Bungie to keep supporting it long term, and for Sony to see that this was a decent investment?
I think from the initial, because keep in mind the game has been out for a couple of days now. From the initial like consensus, it's a good game. Now, whether or not it remains to be seen, mainly because the raid hasn't been out yet, and I think that's gonna make it and break it for a lot of people. But also, it depends on the roadmap ahead, and we're not clearly. I don't think that's been defined yet, as far as I'm aware of.
Because I'm looking right now at the Steam charts, right? So if this is a game it's a shooter, it's Bungie, there's rep behind it. You would think that, it's something that a lot of people are going to be playing and that it's going to be a big game. But at the moment, there's a concurrent player base of 71,000.
Okay.
It is, if I look at Arc Raiders at the moment, 196,000.
Right. Now, is Arc Raiders also on console, or is it a PC only game?
Well, this is strictly Steam, right?
So no, but I'm asking, is Arc Raiders also available on console?
I want to say yes, but I don't actually know. Let me look
Because
that
the
up.
thing with Bungie games, especially, is that I know they have a pretty strong player base on PS5. So I'm not sure
It's
how
also
those.
it's also on PS5 and
Okay.
Xbox.
So I'm not sure what those numbers add up to. If maybe there's more like PC players for Arc Raiders and less for the PS5 versus the other way around for like Marathon. Like, it's if we're using Steam charts as the basis for analysis, then yeah, like sure, it's not doing as well as Arc Raiders, but the fact that there's still like that many players, something to scoff at. I think that's still pretty significant.
I mean, it's better than Highguard.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, I really hope that Bungie succeeds with this
Yeah.
game, but they also seem to be repeating like the same mistakes, in my opinion, over and over. And what I mean by that is just today, like I was reading an article on IGN, where they talked about how the in-game currency. So people were complaining about the in-game currency, which is also an issue, by the way, with Destiny, right?
Yeah.
Which and so essentially, just to kind of give you guys some context, if you get the $10 bundle, right, you get 1,100 lux or
Mhm.
whatever it's called.
It's 1,100, yeah.
1,100 lux. If you want to buy a skin, it costs you 1,120. So the $10 bundle that you just paid for gets you nothing. So you have to buy a $5 thing. So basically now you're spending $15 for something that's actually costing let's say
Okay.
11 something.
That is so
I
standard across all of these
but the
games,
thing is,
though.
no, but
Yes.
the thing is that this was an issue with Destiny. So they acted and they fixed it. And the fact of the matter is that like they have a new game that's coming out, and it's the same thing that's bogging the game down. It's like they're not learning from those mistakes. Of course, they quickly responded to the backlash, and they said that they're gonna fix it. And
Well, they
they're-
needed to, right? Because the game just came out and they need to handle everything. Is it scummy? 100%. It feels very predatory.
I mean, this is 100% just another example of, a studio or a publisher just simply trying to see what they can get away with.
Yeah.
I'm sure that the overall what they accounted for the skins and the cost was the lower one, but they're like, if we can get away with this, let's see if we can get away with it. Because in their mind, it's best case scenario, we get more money and no one makes a giant deal out of it. Worst case scenario, we have to go down to what we would have initially sold them for anyways, and we look good for having lowered it, so to speak.
Yeah.
When players complain, then it makes us seem like someone that listens to the players.
They did they did fix it and then adjust it and then gave everyone the 20 extra lux, but at that point people had already spent the $5, right? So scummy
Yeah,
by
it's
every
just-
means. And like there's another issue with the game as well, where it's like people said that it's great, like Helldivers, the battle pass or the war bond in that game in particular, you can just buy new ones and you're not like losing the old one, which is kind of nice. But apparently the rewards for the battle pass itself is kind of lackluster. So there's no real incentive to kind of buy it. And apparently the stickers you can apply on guns are like limited as well. So it's not like a permanent upgrade. So it's like if you use 25 of them, you lose those stickers, which is kind of a questionable decision for aesthetics.
But hey,
So
Yeah.
just for fun here, I'm going to give you guys the top 3 games on Steam right now with the concurrent highest players.
Okay.
I want you all to guess what number 6 is. And if any of you actually manage to guess number 6,
why specifically number 6?
I will buy you whatever game. So number 1 is Counter-Strike 2, number 2 is Dota 2, and number 3 is Slay the Spire 2.
I think if you said
4 is Arc Raiders.
Okay, then
I don't want
5
5. I want what's number 6?
Is
That's
it like
what I'm wondering.
is it something like Division or something?
No, Division did see an insane uptake because of the new content that it released. So maybe it is
It could be.
Division. And then I don't think Taz is going to gift us Marathon, so it can't be number 6.
And he's going to gift us Division because we already own it.
No, I'll gift you a game of your choice. I didn't say I'll gift you number 6.
Oh, okay. So
is this a pop? I mean, of course it's a popular game.
this has to be a trick. What is this? Sex with Hitler or something?
Give me your official guesses.
Oh my god. Number 6. What the hell came out? I'm just going to say randomly fucking, I don't know, VR chat or something. Because it's probably going to be similar.
Jas, what's your guess?
Division 2?
I know I see you contemplating really hard over there.
I don't know. I want to say Resident Evil, but I don't think it's Resident Evil. So I'll just stick with Resident Evil. Bongo Cat? What?
I'm sure.
Okay.
And what is Marathon beneath that?
Marathon is number 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's crazy.
It's above, so that's 15 if you want. I guess if you want the top 14, so starting from number 1, like I said before, Counter-Strike 2, Dota 2, Slay the Spire 2, Arc Raiders, 5M, whatever that is, Bongo Cat, Rust, Rainbow Six Siege, Path of Exile, RE9 Requiem, Deadlock, PUBG, Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, and then Marathon.
Okay.
So it seems like every other popular multiplayer game is currently... Well, then again, Marvel Rivals and Overwatch are free to play, so I will,
What's Bongo Cat?
Your guess
I know
is
what
as
the character
good
is. It's
as
like, what's the
mine.
game?
I think it's one of those. So basically, it's like a animated cat that sits on your desktop with its paws out like this, and whenever you type on your keyboard, it goes like this.
That's phenomenal.
I got that as an extension to my VS Code at work. So anytime I'm coding, it's in the bottom corner doing that.
The only other game I'm going to mention, so Pokopia, my girlfriend got, and she's been obsessed with that. I only played today for like an hour, so I'll save that for next week's episode. Moonlighter 2. The only thing I want to mention about that game, I think I originally said I wasn't crazy about it. Like, I had a hard time like really sinking in time. It has the opposite effect of what Borderlands was to, especially UTAS, because I remember like you were complaining about like the other 2 biomes except for the starting one. In 4, like when you start off in 4, it's like a lush forest. There's a lot to explore. It's actually fun to like do all the side objectives. But then when you reach the other 2 biomes, which is like the tundra
Deserty
and like
one
desert,
and the mountainous
they were
one, yeah.
barren, empty. The first biome, I guess, you're exploring in Moonlighter 2 is kind of like that. It's a desert. But then afterwards, when you start unlocking the other ones, it's so refreshing. All the enemies are different. They all have different abilities. The upgrades you get in every level is different as well. The music is phenomenal. It was like totally refreshing, and it immediately got me back into the game. So if you do decide to play the game and you get past that like first area, which you also just talked to NPCs, and
I only played the demo, and I can't say I remember exactly what my gripes were with the game, but I don't think it had anything to do with the biome. I think it was just the actual gameplay changes that they had made and that I wasn't a fan of.
Fair enough.
So just that and the whole like running the shop and how the setting prices and the haggling and all that worked. Like, I don't remember specifics because I played that game for like an hour before I decided like I don't like this as much as the first at all. But yeah, it had nothing to do with the biomes. Like, I'm sure in a level design and enemy and all that stuff perspective, like the first was great. I would imagine this would be great regardless of the new graphical style that they went with. But
yeah,
I just wish that it kept more of the first game in terms of how running the shop worked.
Yeah, I did find myself missing the original graphics, but like the more I played, the more I eventually got used to it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I stuck through it because it's been really enjoyable.
It's still in early access, I think, right?
Yeah, but there's still like enough content to keep you busy at least for like a dozen or so hours, which is pretty good. Yeah. So I guess we can talk about the first topic for a game that's no longer in development. Highguard. Unfortunately, it's shutting down. We can crack jokes that we kind of saw it coming, but no, I think we all.
I was the one that wanted it to succeed just because why not? But
do you guys think that because it was the one last thing, like the last game at the Game Awards, like because people were probably expecting like an epic game, like if they ended it with like the Knights of the Old Republic game, that would have been a great way to end the show, right? So do you guys think that because it was like the last game, like I just feel like the internet turned it into a meme before the trailer had even finished?
100%. I think.
It just became cool to hate on it.
Yeah, but like I think that's the thing. Like sometimes we do question if people's like opinions really make a difference overall in game sales. But I think this one had such a high shitstorm. I don't know what the better terminology for this is, but like the news surrounding it wasn't great. And then right off the bat, people just compared it to Concord. And I think so people were hesitant to give that game a try. And maybe if they had a couple more months of like playtesting, they could have fixed a lot of the issues. Certain things weren't there from the very beginning. Questionable things that should have been, like skill trees, for instance, level progressions. That was missing from the game, and so it did feel like almost barren in that sense. So people did compliment it's the rating system where it's like you raid the other fortress. Like that, it was a refreshing take on the genre, but it was still a year or two away from being a good product, I think.
Yeah, to
I
me
mean,
it's crazy because what is it like the player count went down by 90%
Yeah.
in like 24 hours, right? Tencent just pulling the plug right away, and like not even like okay, like how can we like salvage this? No, they're like nah, f this, like let's just pull the
I mean,
plug on
honestly,
you.
I feel like the sentiment was so just down overall on this game that like it's twofold, right? On the one hand, I think that it being the one last thing at the Game Awards did not help it whatsoever, and I think that just completely destroyed any sentiment towards that game. And then on the other hand, it's also just another game in a sea of these competitive shooters coming out that I think people are kind of getting a little tired of because there's already the big established ones, and then this is just not what people seem to want anymore. So I think it had all that working against it. And, yeah, they pulled the plug really early, but I don't think that this was something that was going to be salvageable. And even if
Mm.
they did get some sort of a decent player base going, I think that they were never going to get enough of a player base to justify the money that they were going to have to spend to get this thing into a condition that people would be willing to give it a second shot. This is clearly not meant to be another Fortnite or Overwatch or Marvel Rivals or whatever. Like you don't have the benefit of an established IP. You know what I mean? Like you're just sort of you're they were claiming that it's all sort of old what is it, Titanfall devs. But okay, that's all well and good, but this is not a fucking Titanfall game. So like I don't really care that you worked on that game if this is not that game or anything similar to that game. Like maybe if I can call down a mech and this was like a spiritual successor and it has to be that because they can't make another Titanfall, so it's something similar. It's like, Timu Titanfall, but really good. Then yeah, that could have been something really cool. But
Did it need
you know,
did it need to be a Titanfall game to succeed? Because
I don't think it needed to be a
No, but I
Titanfall game
think
to
people
succeed. But I
wanted a
think
Titanfall
people
game.
are clamoring for another Titanfall, and so I think if they had just simply sort of pivoted to the idea that hey, we're all ex Titanfall devs, and this game is a very Titanfall-esque game that's not Titanfall because we can't make a Titanfall because EA owns the rights to Titanfall, which has happened many times in the past with several other games and studios in history. So it's like I think they would have had a better shot.
I don't know if necessarily the presentation of the game would have changed much. It was, as Jazz points it, like it was really because of the whole discourse around it, especially being like the big final reveal that kind of set people that
I
left
think
a
that
sour
is
taste.
what I think that is what really kind of did them in though. Like I think even if everything had remained the same, because they're planning. So supposedly the studio's plan was to just shadow drop the game without any fanfare or anything, because that's what they had done with Apex Legends, and it worked out for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I think that that would have worked for this game if they had just simply shadow dropped it without that reveal at the Game Awards? I don't know, man. Because again, it's a saturated field. People don't really seem to be wanting these kinds of games anymore, and so I don't
It
know. It
is a
just seems
few
like,
years too late to the market.
Mm.
and apparently this was supposed to be like another genre, and then they pivoted to it being a competitive multiplayer game, which explains sort of why the maps are huge and barren. Because at some point they were supposed to be for something else. Like I don't quite remember the details of that story, but there's a lot happening here, and they just I don't think this game was ever destined to really have a long shelf life.
I mean, none of us played it, right? So
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
literally.
think so.
I had no desire to go and play this game whatsoever. It even if once it came out, people were like, "Oh shit, yeah, this actually is really good." And like this is not my genre, so like I'm not their audience to begin with. So
So I have a question for Jazz and Taz. I know you guys aren't all crazy about Highguard. I mean, it's a bit too late now. That's shutting down. I'm assuming you guys are excited for Wolverine. So, will you guys be getting a PS5 just to play that game?
No. And
absolutely not.
I'm so mad, genuinely. But I get it, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Manny's talking about Sony retreating from the PC space. So we don't get those you know the titles that the following year, right? So sort of like the Ghost of Tsushima, the Spider-Mans, the God of Wars. So starting with Ghost of Yotei and Saros, they're now strictly PS5 exclusive. But to be honest with you guys, I think that it's basically because Sony is terrified of what Project Helix could be, which I know we're going to talk about later on, but the next Xbox, right? They did say that it's a PC, right?
Yeah.
So in theory, you can play PlayStation games on a PC based Xbox. So why buy a PS5, right? So if I'm Sony, I'm basically retreating to the Nintendo model, right? If you want our art, you have to buy our box, essentially. I know people talked about like the ports failing. I don't think of them as failing. I like,
No.
you know, the last, I mean, Spider-Man, like I bought it, and I replayed it, right? But those games, though, we do have to admit that when they came out, they were launched with bugs, right? There was a whole like PSN like account requirement that was also there initially, which was not the case when I played those games, just recently. But I can imagine the PC crowd, turning sour at those kinds of things. But also like the 1 to 2 year delay that we get in between, games. Again, like to me, it's not a
It definitely
failure.
kills the momentum, the hype behind it, and then they're
Yeah.
surprised that it's like lackluster sales. But like if you have to wait for that long, like I can understand people moving on to other games.
Yeah, it's just like and I don't know if you guys agree or disagree, but I think that just because he recently heard the news about Project Helix does not mean that people in the industry didn't know about this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure Sony was also aware of this, and maybe a decision that was just made, like that maybe they were already planning on retreating, and this just kind of sped up the process,
Also,
right? And
they're labeling Helix. I guess we can just merge the two topics together
Sure.
at this point. 'Cause they're labeling Helix as a hybrid console slash PC, which also, and we know very little details about this beyond that. And so I am wondering if they're gonna have games that are gonna be exclusive to the console hybrid, like physical games, and not so like unless you're totally leaning towards digital games.
I don't think so. If there are exclusive, it'll probably be tied to the Game Pass because they did say that this is going to have like the same, what is it, the Xbox screen experience as the ROG Ally, I'm assuming. So it is literally just going to be a desktop PC, but in a console form.
I guess what I want to know is at this point also, why would I want to buy this over, let's say, the Steam frame or whatever it's going to be called? Or whatever they're like, if except from a specs perspective, which I would imagine, I don't know, one of them is bound to be more powerful than the other. But if I look at something like the Steam Deck, and now every game that comes out on Steam, like, oh, is it deck verified or not? Like that badge means something now. And so when the Steam's it's the frame, right? That's what it's called. I forget, but
Yeah.
So
the box.
and so when games comes out that are frame verified, to me, then that kind of means something. And then on the other end with Xbox, the Ally came out and there were still flaws in the OS. People still seem to hate using Windows in general. So like I don't quite understand. And then on the opposite end too, with Xbox as a console, if I'm buying whatever game on an Xbox because I'm using Microsoft Storefront, they're still getting like 30% of that, their 30% cut. Now, if you're releasing a hybrid console and I want to play your game, yeah, fine, it might be Game Pass exclusive, but if I don't want to play it on Game Pass and I just simply want to buy it, I can go on the Steam portion, I guess, and buy that game there, and then I'm still buying your game, but then you're not getting your 30% cut.
Yeah, and you're more likely to get it at a cheaper price on Steam than because games constantly go on sale.
And then also, what does it mean for Xbox Live? Because you still have to pay for Xbox Live right now to have to be able to play online. But then if on the PC side, I don't need to do that either. Like, what are my incentives to kind of stick to the Xbox side of things?
I imagine they're going to rework the entire Xbox Game Pass and Live ecosystem when this console is going to come out, or PC or whatever you want to call it. This hybrid is going to come out because it wouldn't make sense to kind of follow through with the same methodology as you're going with now.
Like, I'm wondering if they're going to rethink this exclusivity thing and maybe go back to kind of do what Sony is doing as well, right? Because
I can also imagine them offering Game Pass to make it more incentivizing at a premium rate, I guess, if you're playing it on this specific machine. They could have accounts tied to the machine.
I don't know. I mean, look, they've just announced the fact that it's hybrid, and they haven't said anything else whatsoever. So
it's just speculations on our part at this point.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. For me, the biggest interest is how you can natively use other launchers in the on the console, because I know you can't do that. I know you can't do that with SteamOS, right? Natively, but you can do that.
True, but if it's like the ROG Ally where they're working on a new window, like a more compact version of Windows to run on these handheld devices, then it shouldn't be an issue where you can have Steam running as well as whatever Xbox client's going to be.
Sorry, are we talking about like on a Steam handheld or like the
no, whatever this hybrid would be, like device?
Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like, I'm curious to see how easy you can do that, because you obviously can't do that easily like on the Steam machine, the Steam Deck.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be smart for them to advertise this as it being a PC device, but then make it super complicated, or like you have to jailbreak your device in order to access it.
Because like I know there's a lot of games you can't play on like Linux machines. Anything that requires hardware-backed like security. So like any game that requires you to install like an anti-cheat system, you can't play on Linux without having to install some other like third-party software.
Yeah, but this would be technically a Windows.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Right? So, like, I'm curious to see how easy they can, like, if I could, I don't know, install BattleNet on the next console and just play, I don't know, World of Warcraft on a handheld, that'd be pretty sweet, I think, to do on the couch.
So is WoW controller supported?
Not
that it matters to the conversation.
Yeah, people have figured out ways to like map. You can install add-ons, but even then, like at the end of the day, if it's just at its core like a Windows OS, people can easily figure out how to install add-ons and do whatever they want with it.
Okay. So, sorry, jumping back, unless you guys had anything else to talk about Helix, I just kind of want to go back to the PS5 topic. Do we think that like they're kind of going down the Nintendo route where they're like, they see how well Nintendo's like, it's not to say that Sony's struggling in terms of sales. Like, they're not really competing with Nintendo. But do you think that they're hoping to kind of focus more on exclusives to kind of incentivize more and more people to go on PS5? Like, could we expect potentially new IPs from Sony in the near future?
I don't know about new IPs, but I think they're definitely trying to make, it more of an incentive to buy a PlayStation and then subsequently a PS6 down the line when that comes out. Because these days, I mean, I don't know, with everything getting more expensive, especially for PC components, and now that's going to kind of bleed over into the price of consoles. If I can wait a year and play Sony's exclusives on my maybe not so amazing but still capable gaming rig without having to pay whatever hundreds and possibly even 1,000 plus now for the next console, then I think I might be more inclined to do that. But then if I can't do it anywhere except the PlayStation 5 and I really want to play these games, then I guess that doesn't leave me much of a choice.
But that's the thing, like you said it yourself, as components are getting more expensive, if people have to make that decision between buying a new PC or upgrading their PC or just sticking with the console, they're more likely to do the latter.
I mean, they're more likely to go for, I don't know, it depends, right? Like,
true. Even if you look at, we see most games also coming out on the PS5. There's good third-party support on there, so it wouldn't be crazy to think that we could even potentially see a lot of PC players being like, maybe it's the time I shift away from PC and just start owning a PS5. Or
I think the mistake in this that Sony is making is assuming that all of the games that they're going to have exclusive to their console that they think are going to be like system sellers are the level of something like GTA 6. Now, GTA 6, when that comes out, you are going to guaranteed see an uptick in consoles sold for sure. That is a game that people are looking forward to, that they're going to absolutely buy the console to play, because even at this very moment, if you look at the most played games on PS5, GTA 5 is like still in the top 10. So when 6 comes out, it will absolutely sell consoles. But that doesn't translate over to all of Sony's first-party exclusives, right? Like, yeah, maybe some people might buy a console to play something like Wolverine. But it stands that if you look overall at the most played games on their consoles, it's all the free to play stuff. And are they so like I feel like they already have the majority of people that were going to play on a PlayStation, and so no one that has a PC and that doesn't have a console is going to look at Sony being like, all these games are not going to come to PC anymore, is going to buy a PS5. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. But I think, so my point was more like, if you take that, like, let's say 5 years from now, and it's this current uptrend of like components getting more and more expensive reaches to a point where like you can feasibly own both. Well, then I think some players would be, like, look at their like game of library that they consistently play and being like, okay, well, most of these games, if not all these games, are also available on the PS5, and it would cost me a lot more money to build a new PC. Well, I'd rather just get a console knowing that it's going to run the games optimized, and then just stick with that. Because let's be honest,
it's all going to come down to cost. And honestly, I mean, look, right now, a PS5, if I wanted to buy a PS5 Pro, a PS5 Pro right now is like $950, right? Do we see? And I know PCs are more expensive. That's a given. But
yeah,
do you foresee a PS6 coming out and being less expensive than a PS5 Pro?
I mean, as hardware evolves, or like older hardware tends to get cheaper. So there's like, it's not going to be like
that is not lately, buddy.
Did we also forget about RAM prices and the also rising cost of well, it's hard drives, not SSDs.
When the PS5 came out, well, what was that, like $600 Canadian, or was it $700?
I think it was around $600-$700,
like $650-ish or something.
I don't think we're gonna see that jump to $900 next generation.
I think realistically, the PS6 will probably be, I think, like $700-$800, and then I think we can see like a Pro version breaking maybe the 1K.
Yeah,
I think I wouldn't be surprised.
But I don't know. Like, to me, there's so much more you can do with a PC. But then also now with the newer generation of gamers that are just happy simply playing Fortnite and Roblox, if they want to go on PS5 and they still get to play whatever COD and Madden, and I think Sony might have the edge there, because gaming trends and gamers themselves are changing, and I think that we're a bit of a minority, right? So
yeah. And while this entire shitstorm is going on, Nintendo's just in their own bubble doing their own thing.
Yeah, they're yeah.
So I don't have a segue for this. I have been thinking about it for the last couple of minutes. And it's really just Jazz and Taz, your bread and butter. The Assassin's Creed brand update. So there's a bit of a news about what we can expect in the coming year or years for like Assassin's Creed projects. You guys want to take it from here?
Assassin's Creed is funny to me in that. All right then, Ripley.
She loves Assassin's Creed.
She's like, oh, that's my shit. That's my shit. Yeah, it's funny to me in that I'll likely play them, but I also don't give a shit about things like the brand update, because I'm just like, when they release a trailer, if it looks good, I'll play it, and if it doesn't, then I'll probably wait on it and play it anyways. So I don't know, like Codename, Hex, Invictus, whatever, like none of this means anything. When they officially come out with a trailer and we see what the game's all about and it looks cool, then cool. But this is not a franchise where I'm clamoring for details on the next game, because you already know exactly what to expect. Like, at this point, an Assassin's Creed game is such a fucking templated thing that all you really need to tell me is what's the skin this year, and like that's more or less it. And I know that sounds like a terrible thing, but sometimes it's kind of exactly what I want out of it, because obviously, they do make little gameplay changes here and there to kind of coincide with whatever the current context is. But yeah.
I mean, it's better than like the release model, what it was like almost a yearly for a new Assassin's Creed game. At least you're taking their time in between releases. It's kind of like making a more fleshed out title.
Yeah. I mean, the setting definitely is what determines it, right? Like, I didn't even bother with Valhalla because I do not care for that setting. Odyssey, I love Greek mythology, so I played the shit out of that. Shadows, I mean, it's Japan. It was a beautiful game to play. I enjoyed playing that a lot. So, it all depends on where these games are going to be set and what the environment looks like to me, because everything else is kind of very cookie cutter when it comes to Assassin's Creed these days.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not really I mean, maybe like Hex, the darker narrative game, sounds interesting. I mean, I like narrative games, but them juggling a PvP game, a mobile game, yeah, to me, I feel like I'm just a little worried that nothing is going to be fleshed out, and yeah,
Yeah,
like I
like
mean,
this whole
who
thing.
asked for a PvP fighter? Like, I don't know. I don't
Honestly,
know.
no one that plays Assassin's Creed is like, wow, I would love if this was a PvP
But that's the thing.
multiplayer game.
Wasn't there one, I forgot which one it was in particular, where it is a PvP focused like game mode where it's like you're kind of blending in the crowd and you had like targets, like out of the other players you'd have to come and assassinate.
I mean, that sounds familiar, but to be honest, like in terms of these kinds of games from Ubisoft, the only multiplayer that I ever really enjoyed was, I think, back in Splinter Cell 3. It had spies versus mercs, and like that was just so well done and so fun that if they brought that back, I think I'd be more inclined to play it. But for something like Assassin's Creed, like just I don't know, man. If they're saying that this is a game that's made for, it's made by a team of For Honor veterans, like okay, cool, but then that kind of tells me what to expect. And at that point, it's like, why not just put these characters in For Honor? Like you'll spend less money and you'll probably get the same fucking money back. Because I don't see this.
The game, to be fair, the For Honor is a bit dated now, so it wouldn't make sense unless they're just fleshing out a new For Honor game.
I don't know, but I don't know. This is not. I don't see what they can reveal to me with Invictus that's gonna make me want to even bother trying it. But maybe they'll surprise us. Who knows?
Maybe this will be a clip that aged poorly.
Then what else is there? There's a Netflix series. I mean, the Splinter Cell animated one was apparently very well received. So
it was really good. I'm surprised. Wait, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, that's surprising considering how much you love the IP. No, but it's a really good show. I highly recommend it. And if you guys haven't seen it either, please do.
Yeah, I mean, I never got around to it, but I was glad that it was at least well received in that regard. So
if this is them gauging interest for the IP, which means hopefully. Wait,
well, apparently a remake is, or not, I don't know if it's a remake or what it is, but there is something being worked on at Ubisoft Toronto. So, I mean, that team did have layoffs recently, so I'm hoping that's not a bad sign for it. But, there's something coming, and hopefully they did have that crossover recently between Sam Fisher and Solid Snake in, I think, Rainbow Six.
You know who else is coming? Nintendo, after the U.S. government.
Oh, God.
That was a dubious transition, but well
Manu
done.
approved.
Thank you. So basically, after recent news that Trump's tariffs were considered unlawful by the Supreme Court, Nintendo is currently suing the U.S. government due to the tariffs that they had placed around the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, which had caused delays in shipment. And also kind of a whole fiasco with the console price and pre-orders. And it was a whole debacle. And honestly, it's one of the first few times I'm happy that Nintendo is suing someone.
I imagine like Nintendo's law team is this like group of just super fucking the elite smart. I don't know if they're Japanese lawyers or whatever, but I like to imagine it's a room full of the smartest Japanese people you've ever met in your life. And then they're about to go into a legal war with just like the absolute fucking stupidest group of people you've ever met that you can't even like reason with. And you're just like, how does that work? You know what I mean? Like, how do you argue and try to win with someone that has the collective IQ of a fucking walnut?
Well, there goes our U.S. demographic.
I don't mean the U.S. demographic. I mean specifically the U.S. government.
like, how does that even work if you sue an entire government? Like,
I don't know.
And they lose. Like, are they just gonna stop supporting like any consoles or anything like in the U.S.? Like, what's the outcome of this if they lose?
Literally, I don't. This is so interesting to me because I'm just like, that government could not give a fuck about Nintendo suing them probably. And so what is Nintendo looking to gain out of this, and what's even going to happen?
Yeah.
Because Nintendo does have a sick ass law team. Like for all intents, like Nintendo is basically a law firm that develops video games. So like, like them to go after the government, everyone's cheering Nintendo on because they're like, oh, if anyone can do it, they can, because it's a very litigious company. But it's also the Trump administration, man. Like, you can't reason with these people. Like, how is this gonna? You can't get these fuckers to release the Epstein files. You think they're gonna let them? They're gonna give you a dime because they charged you tariffs on your shit? Like, I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe they'll, in retaliation, bomb the.
And on the other hand, I'm like,
headquarters in Japan.
but then on the other hand, I'm like, I don't even care if Nintendo doesn't win, because like, what's the best case scenario? That they're good Samaritans and that the fucking consumers get the extra money that they paid back and they lower the price of their shit? Like, you know what I mean? It's not gonna fucking happen. So that's just more money back in their pockets, and that's it. You know, once the tariffs hit and then the accessories went up in price, do you think anyone that paid the extra cost of those accessories is going to get that money back? Fuck no.
No. So I guess best case scenario, the U.S. government gets pinched a tiny bit.
Nothing is going to come of this. I can hope something will come of it. I don't know what something, but I hope something. But I'm thinking nothing.
Maybe there's someone in the White House that's like downloading Nintendo like ROMs or something, and they're like they're hiding behind this like lawsuit.
Trump didn't want to pay $30 for that.
If you fucking, if you told Nintendo that Trump downloaded a fucking Super Mario NES ROM, game over. That's it. He's being taken down tomorrow. They're sending fucking snipers.
Maybe that's the agenda we need to push, like the rumors. Start spreading them.
Go careful, man. Some powerful people out there.
I heard Trump downloaded Yuzu.
Oh my god. All right. So on that note, once again, actually I said Manu was gonna do the outro this time. Manu, go ahead. Take it away.
I don't know. I'm
Come
not ready.
on, man. You could do this. Come on.
You can do this. We believe
you say goodbye, good night.
Let me help you. What do you say when you're leaving a place?
You say hello. Anyways, that's a wrap up to another episode of Not Quite High Score. Thank you for tuning in. Where can we find us? Where can they find us?
Where can we find us?
Where can we find us?
That's deep, man.
YouTube.com/NotQuiteHighScore or NotQuiteHighScore.com redirects you to our YouTube. You guys can also listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, so Apple Music or Spotify. And you guys can send us an email at notquitehighscore@gmail.com. You guys
send me a fucking email, guys. If I have to just get a notification for that fucking inbox and it's another Zencaster invoice, I swear to God.
Yeah, I'm still paying those bills. Or you guys can talk with Taz and discuss the intricacies of this lawsuit on our Blue Sky account, which is also Not Quite High Score.
Guys, everyone start it up, man. Spread the rumor.
They're going to send ice to our house, man.
Trump downloads Switch ROMs.
Trump is actually the one that developed Yuzu and now is spreading it again.
That's right. Trump developed Yuzu. That's the least believable thing that you could possibly spread about that guy.
Okay,
bye.
Great outro, Manu.